breathtaking locations, thrilling set pieces, intriguing characters, perfectly paced plot, and satisfying gameplay. Indiana Jones and the Golden Circle was my favorite game of 2024 and one of my favorite first person stealth games of all time, up there with the likes of Dishonored and Bioshock for me in first person shooters. The action in the game went above and beyond my expectations, and every corner held a new thrill for me to explore. Come with me to revisit this lush and deeply beautiful game of Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. It begins with Indy and his fellow companions coming upon a tomb. Right before the entrance, one of his companions goes to betray him, but thinking quickly with his whip, he disarms him and continues on. Once inside of the tomb, one of the traps almost impales his companion through the face, just like the other man who wasn't so lucky. We come upon the treasure, which Indy uses a bag of dirt to substitute the treasure and try to get away scot-free. In his flight, his companion betrays him, demanding the idol for the whip. Indy gives it reluctantly, but the companion forgets about the light trap and ends up not having anything in the end. After that, the game shifts to the Vatican, where Indiana Jones dresses up as one of the brothers of the church, looking to solve the riddle of the cat mummy, which deals with the treasures of the Golden Circle. There's a large puzzle section underneath the church, using poured wine at the altar of Christ to find the different answers to the wall puzzle. It was then I met a beautiful woman named Gina, disguised looking for her sister that went missing. Their relationship was the heart of the game, and she honestly was a breath of fresh air compared to other women protagonists in this day and age, especially in the Indiana Jones series. Once again, we come on other puzzles dealing with fire this time, and that was probably one of the most intriguing sections of them all. I had to work together with Gina to open a door to get through, and jumping from section to section with the whip, trying not to fall in the fire, was heart pounding and exhilarating. Then came the first boss fight against Locust, a giant man trying to prevent Voss and his other companions from finishing the Golden Circle and collecting all the relics needed for that task. The hand-to-hand combat controls were some of my favorite things to handle in the game. I stayed away from shooting for the most part. It was more handled with stealth. But this hand-to-hand fight with Locust allowed you to cut loose with this abandon, and without worrying about other enemies coming upon your position. After taking him out, we came upon the main villain of the game, Voss, and he had a punchable face, to say the least. Pursuing him and trying to thwart his plans made me very excited every time I was coming up against him. I couldn't wait to take him on at the end of the game. I knew it would be a rousing challenge. After sneaking onto the airship and doing some third-person shooting, which also one of the better parts of the game, in the pyramids of Giza in Egypt were some of the most beautiful sand setting in a video game I probably have ever experienced. From the catacombs beneath the pyramids to the Sphinx set between them. Every shot in this location could have been a screensaver, possibly. The game devs used the graphics card to its maximum setting. We came upon one of the new characters. Her name was Dame Noel. She helped us progress through the game, giving us tasks and other things to do to complete in the Egypt section of the game. I really like to enjoy the open world parts of this, and it was probably the section that I spent the most time in. We fed her snake, and there was a furry monkey, which also I enjoyed. I love animals. On one mission, myself and Dame Noel went and found a hieroglyph talking of the Niflheim Order who worked with the ancient Egyptians. Locus was a part of the Niflheim Order, and he was trying to stop Voss and his team of bad German soldiers from completing the Great Golden Circle. Later finding out that the Golden Circle controls Noah's Ark. After we found another relic, we jumped Voss inside of his own office, ambushing him and one of his men, doing an autopsy on an Egyptian body. After getting away and finding another artifact, we got stuck in the sand, and Indy almost ended up getting eaten by scorpions before Voss conveniently rode away. Gina and Dame Noel came and saved us right on time. From there, the sand, we jumped to the ice in the Himalayas, where Gina's sister was seen last. Now, the ice mountains were some of my favorite settings, just visually, because a ship on top of a mountain is just an unprecedented level for a video game, honestly. Going from the open sands to claustrophobic hallways of the ship was a jarring pace, which I thoroughly enjoyed. The puzzles in the ship weren't plenty, but they were thoroughly done. And once we found Gina's sister, which was dead, sadly, we found out that she used one of the stones to teleport the ship to this location. Once we got that information, we attempted to head out, and Voss men accosted us, and barely escaping with our lives, Gina thought quick and used a bomb to almost blow up the men that Voss sent after us. She thinks quick on her feet, and honestly, she's a pretty badass woman. Easily one of my favorite characters in the game. One of the detriments that I did not like, though, was we couldn't take guns with us from different sections, whether it was climbing up a ladder or jumping up a curb. We couldn't take the guns if we did have any remaining ammo. That was disappointing. But coming to the end of the ice section, Indy and Gina figured out the word to transform them or teleport them from the ice location all the way to Hong Kong, a Chinese location that was another jarring set piece that meshed really well with the overall aesthetic of the game. Loved the way the fire was really around the buildings and the graphical fidelity on this part. We've quickly found a plane and taking off while Indy was in the dog seat, using the gun to dogfight with the other planes. That was exciting and something I didn't expect to do in this game at all. From there, we escaped and went to the swamps in Thailand, and we met a woman named Pei Lin and her wise and seasoned grandfather, Sunan. They helped us figure out where the next piece of the Golden Circle was located. They were reluctant to help us at first, but telling them that we were better than Voss finding it first let them capitulate and help us. Once we found where the next piece of the Golden Circle was located, we headed there, and the lush scenery of Thailand in the swamp areas was sweeping and majestic, if anything. The set pieces are just some locations I can stay in for a very long time. I'll be revisiting this game just for the visual alone. Once we came upon the location, I had to use an apparatus that allowed Indy to dive deep into the water, and seeing that gigantic anaconda made me move with haste, and it was very, very frightening, surprisingly. I didn't think I would get that scared playing that section. But once inside the temple, there was some awesome platforming using spears to make a handhold for your whip to swing across. And then we came upon a place where we could battle the snake, and I felt like Samuel Jackson on a plane trying to battle a gigantic snake. Or I felt like Ice Cube in Anaconda with Jennifer Lopez. If anyone remembers that movie, that's a deep cut. But that was probably one of the cooler boss fights of the game. Just throwing spears and attacking a gigantic snake that's trying to eat you. It was pretty epic. As soon as I finished the snake mission, I came across a woman named Anika. She was one of Indy's old students and ended up double-crossing him in the end once we were able to find all the pieces we needed. She was crushed, sadly, after betraying us. She was too fine for all that. I'm just joking, but yeah, she looked good. Anyway, after escaping with that puzzle piece, we head to the surface to be ambushed by Voss once more, shooting us with guns, and this time, Locust being on our side, he helped us escape. We escaped down the river, shooting at the guardsmen who were chasing, and that, again, one of the greater set pieces in the game, using a basket full of rifles to mow down the opponents chasing after us. Honestly, it gave me Uncharted vibes. At the end of the section, Gina was captured, and we team up with Locust to head to the final location, which was Iraq in the Middle East. And the German bad guys found the final place and the final piece required to complete the Golden Circle. So we freed Gina, and instead of giving up on the mission, Gina wanted to finish it, and Indy and her go and find Voss upon the Ark. After getting captured, along with Locust, they're taken out into the ocean, where Voss all of the pieces of the Golden Circle, and this is where the final battle took place. I had to face Voss in a one-on-one, hand-to-hand fight where he was a karate master and I was just a guy with a right hook. So that took a good long while to beat him, and it tested my combat skills that I've learned up to that point. So it was a successful boss battle. In the end, Locust sacrifices himself to save me and Gina. We get away, head to a beach, and in the end, Indy gets a kiss from the girl, which is always nice to see. And shout out to Locust. He was a real one in the end. Ended up taking Voss out with him, and that was the end of the game. The story and the plot, spectacular. Easily one of the best paced video games I have ever played. Plot and pacing both get 1 point. Characters, Indy, he went on a full character arc, uncovering demons that he had in his past and also helping Gina find closure with her sister. Gina, one of my favorite characters in the game, beautiful, sweet, intelligent, sensual, awesome character. Locust, he was a pain at first, but he became one of the, I would say, underrated characters in the game. Voss was a great villain, and his sidekick was pretty annoying as well. They did their job with the villainy. So the characters and their progression, I'll definitely give it a full 2 points. Cinematography and score. The cinematography was breathtaking. Each visual place was different and contrasted from the last, giving your eyes something new every time the location switch. Can't say that for every AAA game nowadays. A lot of it looks the same. A lot of them have similar set pieces every level. So gotta give them their props for that. The score evoked wonderful feelings of nostalgia that came from the earlier games. So the score was a brilliant callback to the original movies. The themes and ideals, not giving up on the people who are around you, and also just not stopping until the job is done. Indy is persistent. If anything, you'll see a job to its conclusion. And my final thoughts. All in all, it was one of the better first-person games, like I said in the beginning, I've ever played, next to BioShock and like Doom 1, and even some Call of Duty games. This Indiana Jones game was definitely up there. And out of everything, I have to give it a 9 out of 10. A big score for this indie game. Really good. Impressive. Yeah, and that's it. That was my review for Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. Follow me on all my socials, Anime Senpai Zero. Turn on notifications if you can. Leave a comment, like, subscribe. Appreciate you for listening. I'm out. Thank you.